Right, hello, welcome back to BJG Reptiles. Today we're doing a reptile room tour. So there's a lot of new things since the last video, and there's unfortunately some sad news as well, which I will get to later on in the video. But firstly, we're going to start with some of the newer animals that weren't in the last reptile room tour. So bear with me while I turn the camera around. So to kick it off, we are going to start with Deanie, who is my morning gecko. Now, this is Deanie's enclosure. You probably won't be able to see Deanie because she's a pain in the ass and she's always hiding. However, she's usually on that log back there. She obviously gets fed in front of us. She gets fed this quite often. She also gets some small mealworms, as you can see. There's one trying to escape. She will eat those actually. It was just a test to start with, but she will eat them. So she's a morning gecko. She's very interesting to watch when she is actually out. We're now going to go over to the newest animal that I have purchased, which is actually my albino, T+ albino, red blood python, who is right there. So this is Scarlet. Scarlet is the biggest snake in the reptile room and also the oldest. She is 10 years old. She's just a big softie really, but she's an amazing animal and she is really large. So if I just even lift this up, so this is actually, she's huge. This is actually a hamster cage. It's the bottom of a hamster cage with a hole cut in it because that's the only thing I could find that made her a big enough enclosure. The enclosure is 6 foot long by 2 foot deep and 2 foot high. And it's a pain in the ass to lock. So that's Scarlet. We'll then go over to the original rack. So Jaffa doesn't need to clean. Jaffa is my normal corn snake. She is one of the rescues, many rehomes that are in here. She is very food motivated and it is food day, so I'm not going to taunt her for too long. But she's going to come up and say hello, look. So this is Jaffa. She is also a similar age to Scarlet. We estimate her to be around 9 to 10 years old. And she's quite big. And she's also lost a lot of weight, which is nice because she was very overweight when she came to me. But yeah, this is Jaffa. Now currently she's in a 3 foot enclosure. She will get a 4 foot enclosure because they do fit on here. I've just got to find one that's cheap enough. I've got all the setup and everything that will work for the 4 foot, but currently she's in a 3 foot, which is the enclosure she came to me. And then we'll move down to another colubrid. So this is Henry's tank. Henry is my Mex King snake. Now unfortunately he is terminally ill. He does have a form of cancer. I believe it's called hemangiosarcoma. I'm trying to find where he is. I think he's in this log or behind it. But Henry is bright red. It's also food day for him, so I've got to be careful while fishing around trying to look for him here. We'll see if he's under here. Is he back there? You can see the back of him there. He's hidden in these plants. You can kind of see him if I just look through. You can just about see him. But that's Henry. Obviously he's not coming out of the camera, but that's fine. We will lock his enclosure before I forget about that. He is a CB 2018 from Snakes and Adders, and he was my first ever snake. So this one is like my pride and joy. He's probably my favourite snake in my collection. We then move down to a gecko. Now I've got to figure out where Blue is because he's always hiding. I think he's in his coconut today. So we'll have a look. That's Blue. Blue is an Eclipse leopard gecko. Blue is in a 3 by 2 foot enclosure, which is more than enough for him. Now his UV hasn't been fitted yet, but it is waiting back there. But he's currently being fed on the D3 calcium with every feed. He's eating mealworms and locusts, just like his brother, who is down here. Now Pascal is my first ever leopard gecko. He is what we believe to be a hypo or a super hypo. We don't know. He was locally hatched by my dad. My dad didn't breed him. His mum came to him pregnant and we didn't know. His enclosure I think looks a little bit worse, but that's because he's got the fake hide there because I had to replace one of the wooden ones he had because it had wood mites and it was just disintegrating. So he's got that for the time being. You can also see that he's got about a week's worth of poop there that needs cleaning. When they were littler, I cleaned them every day or every other day. When they're this big, I clean them every week. You can see there's a little bit of poop there. He's actually had a clean yesterday, which is what that is, whereas he needs the clean today. We will then move over to the first royal of the video. So this is Helix. So as you can see, he's got quite bad spiraling and corkscrewing. He is a spider. He's called Helix because of this. So he's actually disabled. I've got to be very careful with him. He's not a breeding royal python. He is purely a pet, and he was also a rehome from, again, Snakes and Adders. And someone brought him in to them, and I got him for free, plus a little bit of a donation when I came back in. He's friendly as out, but sometimes he just has trouble moving. Sometimes he has trouble eating. This is what he's like all the time. The only way, it was worse than that when I first got him, but what I've got to do is pack his enclosure full of just random things, not very high up, and it decreases the stress, and he doesn't do this as much. But yeah, that is Helix. We will then move over to the snails. You can see some here. See one on the top. Actually, I'll just see one on the top there. There's all sorts in there. These are African land snails. These are educational animals, again from Snakes and Adders. I've got 5 of them in there. They don't have names because I don't know what to name them. But there's 4 big ones, and then the small one is that one right there. But they're amazing. They eat lettuce, cucumber, basically any plant life. They're completely vegetarian, but they will get basically the size of my hand. And currently, as you can see, they're really small. But they are my giant African land snails. We'll then move down to Gordon, which is my one and only hognose. So it's feeding day for Gordon as well, so Gordon's not going to be impressed with me when I open this. But that is Gordon. You go in and say hi? Gordon is, I believe, 2 years old. He's a male, and he is a jaguar morph, and he's het for a bunch of other things as well. He's amazing. He's an amazing animal, but he's very, very food motivated, so we're going to close this vid now because it's not feeding time just yet. He is in a 2-foot enclosure. I believe it's 2 and a bit foot by like 1 foot deep, or 1.5 deep. I think it's like 56 by 45 or something like that. Or 56 by 30. It's more than enough for him. He doesn't even fill the back of the enclosure. He is a tiny hognose. But eventually, if he gets big enough, he'll have a 3-foot vid too. We'll then move over to my only mammal in the room, which is Reggie, which is my hamster. He's just had a fresh clean today. And people don't like this enclosure. I've already said that he will be having an upgrade, but due to financial situations, he's still in there. I was going to put him in this, but I don't know if he can chew out of that, so I'm not risking it. I'd rather him just stay in there for a little bit longer. But eventually he'll have probably a 3-foot enclosure again. I might get a wooden one, I might get a rodent specialist one, but currently he's in that. Don't kill me for it, get over it. In here, I have 2 royal pythons, so these don't live together before anyone kills me. I'm currently in the process of breeding them. She needs a clean, she's going to get a clean tomorrow. But Cherim and Bernard are in here, so I think Bernard's in here because I think Cherim is in there. So you can see Cherim back there. Cherim is a super pastel purple passion, which is a super pastel, a Mojave and a phantom. And then Bernard, who I believe is in here, is a lesser yellow belly het for albino. Now this is his first attempt at breeding. As you can see, he's quite a bit smaller, but he is up to weight and he is of age. So we'll see what happens there. It should be interesting. So this is Cherim's enclosure. Cherim is in a 4-foot by 1-foot enclosure, which is, in my opinion, the bare minimum that royals need. The reason Helix is smaller is due to his disability. So I don't want to risk having too much height, too much distance. I didn't stress him out. He's in a smaller enclosure. That's fine. No one can kill me for that. Now Helix, on the other hand, has just had a clean today. And not Helix, Anubis. He is my first ever royal python. He's my normal royal. He's got plenty of plants. He's got a mixture of lignocell and cork bark, bark chips, whatever, bark chips. He's just a normal, but he is also het for TSK Xanthic. Now he's in a 3-foot enclosure, but that's because he's a smaller male. When he gets bigger, if he reaches the length, I will give him a 4'2". But currently he's in a 3-foot enclosure and he loves life. Then we'll move over to my fish, which are my Danios or Danios. I've got 4 of them in there. They often school. They're very cool to look at, but when I move houses, these will be moved out of the reptile room. Sheerly because I want them on display, and right now they're kind of hidden down here. They were up there where Reggie is, but a bloody power cut hit us, and the filter actually started leaking water everywhere. So that was not good at all. But they're my fish. We'll then move over to the ball python, basically corner. We've got Eris, who is a leopard het 4 pied in here. Her water needs cleaning. Ugh, that's gross. She's shatting her water today. Brilliant. I'd literally just cleaned that yesterday. Down here we have Ophelia, who is through. We'll lift this up. Who is down there. So these are all like 3 foot long rubs. So ideally I could do with a 4 foot enclosure for all of these, other than him and him, who need 3 foot enclosures because they're so small. So this is a Pep, my pinstripe het pied, which is her partner. Oh, I should say as well, Ophelia is a GHI Royal Python. I'm going to skip over the Royals because people tend to get pretty bored at this section of the video, but this is Zippy in here. Zippy is stood right there. That's not poop, that's the heat map. He is a normal Hetford. And then my last Royal is Bernard, who you've just seen in there. He lives in there for the time being. I'm actively looking for an improvement enclosure because he had that when he was really small. It's about 2 foot by 1 foot, or 2 foot by just under 1 foot. He definitely needs an upgrade. We will then move down to the other reptile that's on this row because the rest are inverts or other species of animals. So this is Shelley. Shelley is another rehomed animal that I own. She is a Mississippi map turtle. She has had a freshwater change. It's completely clear. She's got the new filter sorted. I said that, but it's not really spewing out much water, so I'm probably going to have to push it down a little bit. But Shelley is a rehome. She is, I think we estimate, to about 8 years old. So she's about fully grown. She has got some scarring here on her shell, where apparently she fell down the back of a cabinet when she was smaller. And so Mississippi map turtles have these like spikes going down the ridge of their shell. She doesn't have them at the front. She has been fed today. She's going to come up and say hi. She's an amazing turtle, actually. She's really personable. She's not really scared of anything. She's a little bit jumpy like that if I come too close too quickly. But she's an amazing animal. I really love Shelley. And then we'll move up to the inverts. So in here is Kari, who is impossible to see because she's under there. You can just see her legs. She is my Nicaraguan curly hair or T. albo tarantula. Now this is the sad bit. Unfortunately, Ian, who is our Asian forest scorpion, passed away the other week. He was in molt, he had complications and he did pass away. So this enclosure is currently empty, unfortunately. I might get another scorpion, but not for some time yet. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Here we've got another tarantula. We've got Louis, who is an OBT. Now, if you don't know, these things are pretty much evil. I'm trying to find him, but oh, he's right there. Oh, you just seen him run. There you go. That's Louis. He's obviously a small sling. We've then got Nightfall, who is another sling. She's a Borneo black. She's a lot harder to see, but she's in this webbing here. You can kind of see her. You can see where she's been eating. But yeah, they're the 2 slings. And then we've also got Loki, who is my Costa Rican zebra, who is right at the front. Look at that. She's getting big. She's had a molt with me. She's getting very big. She's beautiful. This is actually my fiance's spider, or tarantula. And she is a gorgeous, gorgeous looking tarantula. It's actually feeding day for them, which is why she's out. And then the final one on this rack, I'll move on to the floor to show you, isn't an invert, but rather an amphibian. It is a Pac-Man frog called Squishy. Now, Squishy, it's also feeding day for him or her. They get fed every single day, and they have put on some right weight since we last did a video on them. They are such a gorgeous animal. Such a gorgeous animal. I feed them every day. I feed them either locusts or mealworms. I'm looking to feed them a bit more of a variety too, but that is enough of a variety for the time being, especially when they're younger. You don't want to overfeed them, but you also don't want to underfeed them. So that's squishy. Now we're down to the final 3 animals, which are the babies. So these babies soon, probably in a year or so, will be due an upgrade. So we'll get Colin down. Why is the lid to Shelley's food in here? My son was feeding them, which is probably why that's there. This is Colin. He is a southern banded water snake, and he actually escaped yesterday. So while my partner was feeding him with my son, like I just mentioned, he has bolted out the back of this hide and gone straight over, and he actually went under all those wires and behind the big 6-foot viv. So for half an hour I was trying to scoop him out with the help of my partner, and as you can see we got him out unscathed, but oh my god is he a pain in the ass. So now we'll go to the next baby, which is Liliana. So this is going to be his partner. I should mention that all 3 of these babies were also bought from Snakes and Adders. So that's Liliana. She is a very, very inquisitive female. She is a gorgeous, gorgeous animal. And she, unlike Colin, has got this striping on her. Colin is like almost jet black. She's really inquisitive. She's a really nice snake. She'll come out thinking it's food all the time though, but you can see the banding on her, whereas Colin is jet black. She will literally just follow my finger around. Right, okay, and then we'll move to the last baby, which is the last animal, which everyone loves. She's Tango. Now, Tango we can not get out because he did eat the other day, but we can show you what Tango actually looks like, because Tango doesn't have a tendency to run away. This is Tango. Tango is a albino male corn snake. So this is, I just want to move you a little bit that way, big lad. So he is the youngest snake in the room. Right, completely fine. And he will be, when he's up to size, if Jaffa is still producing infertile eggs, he will be Jaffa's partner. So we'll end up with some 100% albino corn snakes. And then I might breed them back to the mum, to the dad, sorry, or I might buy another one to keep the bloodline fresh. But hopefully, in a few years, I will have albino corn snakes, which would be an amazing feat because that is something that I've always wanted to do. But that is the last animal in the reptile room, I believe. Yeah, so I've got the 3 babies. I've got that rack there. I've got this rack here. And then that rack there. And then behind me is Scarlet and Deanie. Oh, and then they're the feedings for the 3 colubrids. So Gordon, Henry and Jaffa. That is it for the video. So if you have enjoyed this, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, if there's anything that you want answers for, or you're unsure about, or if you think I'm doing something wrong, just comment below. I'm always happy to talk to you. Yeah, just comment if you want. I'm always happy to have a chat with you, no matter what it's about. If you believe I'm doing something so wrong, that's completely fine. Please talk to me about it, and I will see if I can improve, or if I can see if I can tell you that actually I am doing it right. But I won't just be opinionated. If you do believe I'm doing something wrong, just let me know, and I will quite happily answer you. That's it for this video. Thank you, and I will see you next time.